Welcome to today's experience training. Today, we're talking about exceptionals. And under the heading of exceptionals, we're going to talk about demand or demonstrate. Demand or demonstrate. I'm going to have to give you an example with my 4 sons. I have 4 boys that eat a lot, ages 6 to 13. And if I ask them to do something, if I ask them to do a chore, maybe it's rake the yard, it's mow the grass, it's vacuum, any number of things that I can ask of my boys, it matters very much how I ask them to do it. You see, there are really 2 options that I have. I have option number 1, and that is the tell and send, right? Tell and send, that's the usual dad option. Tell and send is the demand, and that is the yard's a mess, handle it. Y'all get out there and take care of this, right? And there are some expected responses, right? There are some predictable responses from my kids. If I give them the tell and send to go out and rake the yard, there are some predictable things that I know are going to happen. One of those is going to be my 6-year-old coming in every 2 seconds to ask me endless questions. Endless questions. It will be literally, Dad, does the rake go like this or does the rake go like this? Should I rake the yellow leaves and the orange leaves or just one? It will be questions like you have never seen or heard. The other thing I'm going to deal with is grumbling, right? The grumbling session, and the problem is it's not just one. Like I said, I got 4 boys. So if one of them begins to grumble, some of them begin to agree, and all of a sudden what was a small grumbling child becomes 4 grumbling children, and no good can come of it, right? So I've got questions, I've got grumbling, and then I've got, well, the reality is I'm going to have to do it again because it's just, there's an efficacy problem, there's an efficiency problem. It is not going to go the way that I had hoped it was going to go. So I have the option of tell and send. I can demand my kids because I'm dad, and dads can do that. But I have a second option. The other option, and thank goodness there's another option, I can show my boys. I can demonstrate for them. I can go out there and I can say, hey guys, here's what this looks like. Here's what I'm looking for. Here's what I expect. The results from my presence with them, my participation with them are completely different because I have the opportunity to clarify things early on. If I see the rake is upside down, I can make that adjustment. If I see that there are some questions, I can answer them before everything is interrupted. Right? So I can bring some clarification while I'm there. I can also help set the mood a little bit because if I'm out there, I can introduce some things to make work fun. I can sling a rake full of leaves onto my kids and it can become a leaf fight, but then we get back to work. I can help participate in establishing a different mindset, a different approach to our work, right? So those are both awesome. But the third thing that I have the opportunity to do is I have the opportunity to not have to do it all again. I have the chance to be out there and to impact the efficacy, the efficiency, the way it's being done. And if I can be out there and do that, then I have the opportunity to have the rest of my day without being interrupted by doing what I asked my kids to do earlier. So the question comes back, can I send and tell my kids? Can I demand it? Yes, I have the right. Can I participate with them? Can I go out there? Can I get in the trenches for a few minutes and do something with them? Yes, I can. The difference will be the return. So the opportunity for me to engage my team, to create an experience that boosts positive camaraderie versus negative group session grumbling, the opportunity to instill excellence by executing and teaching my kiddos the basics, the opportunity to build trust. Right? I can go out and I can show my kids that I've done this before. This was a part of my experience too. I can build trust. So the question I would ask today is, how do your employees, how does your staff respond to invitations to undertake opportunities, which may not be at the top of their list of favorite things? How is leadership positioned to set the mood? How are leaders within the rank and file positioned to impact the mood, the mindset? How are they impacted to breed camaraderie? How can we go out and help focus on the fundamentals so that we don't have to redo everything it is that we have set out to do? How are we positioned to set the mood, the mindset, right? To go out there and actively participate in changing the approach to work? Who is positioned to create camaraderie? Who is best at helping focus efforts on the fundamentals, who understands the basics, and who is building trust. Exceptional customer experience begins with the relationship between leadership and employees, and the relationship between your coworkers. It really does begin with your experience. You see, your task is to build experts. And whether you do so by demanding or by demonstrating, it will determine how long that task of building experts takes. How many redos are in your future? And there's one other thing. It's going to determine the condition of your team when you cross the finish line. You see, the reality is, whenever my boys are done raking the yard, they are going to come into my house, and I have to deal with them for the rest of the day. So are they going to be in a good mood? Are they going to come in and be like, Dad, let's eat a sandwich, let's hang out, let's watch the ball game? Or are they going to be slamming doors and huffing and puffing for the rest of the day? You get to determine that based on how you lead. You get to determine whether you demand or demonstrate. And that decision will have everything in the world to do with how you interact with your team and how your team interacts with your customers.